Oh, hi, hello, how you doing? My name is Waldo, and I'm here to feel the politics with you. How's everybody doing today? I am doing great, thank you. It is Wednesday night. It's nice and sunny outside because it's springtime and it's coming up on summer. So yeah, our Wednesday night streams are going to be co-starring the sun, and you see more of it back here. I don't much appreciate it, but it is here as an uninvited co-star. So I'm the star, okay, and the sun is the co-star. Don't you forget it. Hi, how are you? I'm doing good. I've got Bulbasaur and a Dr. Pepper bottle. I don't drink Dr. Pepper. My old lady left that there, making me look like a slob, you know? And her laundry. Good Lord. Making me look like some sort of dirty, rotten gremlin. But I'm not. I'm a big stinky ogre. There's a big difference. Anywho, how are you? I'm great. It's Wednesday. We got some stuff to talk about tonight. We've got first off, I think we're going to talk about the breaking news. Breaking news. Breaking news. I need a hat or a sort of.
You're a clean-scented gremlin.
I'm a clean-scented gremlin. Sure. Yeah. I need some sort of pop-up for when we actually have breaking news. Breaking news. But I don't have a pop-up for that. If anybody wants to make one, by all means, go into the Discord and create a breaking news graphic thing, and I'll put it up on the screen. If you made an audio component to go with it, I would absolutely press it and play it. So yeah, and make it don't make it look good. No, I don't want it to look good. I don't want any of these things to look like, good. I want them to be a little janky, a little off, a little crooked, a little sideways. So if you want to do any of those things, you could do that. And
maybe something like you wielding a hammer, swinging it towards the screen.
Yeah, if you want, yeah. You throw whatever you want at it because it's breaking news. It's breaking the screen. Yeah. Just smashing something. Yeah. I'm on board. Whatever we got, until something better comes along. So yeah, breaking news. The Supreme Court has changed the rules of elections again because that's what they do. They just jam out. They just come up with cool ideas on how to complicate and make things worse. So, and they work for Donald Trump, so that is part of their other issue. Where is my links? There it is. Let's take a look at what they did this time. The Supreme Court limits Voting Rights Act in historic decision. Hooray!
And good morning, everyone. I'm Kira Phillips. We're coming on the air because the Supreme Court has just released a major decision which could have a profound impact on the midterm elections. The justices issuing a ruling on a case out of Louisiana involving the Voting Rights Act, redistricting, and whether states must end any consideration of race when redrawing congressional maps. The decision potentially reducing the influence of minority voters and minority representation in Congress. Let's get right to our senior Washington correspondent, Devin Dwyer, who covers the Supreme Court for us. Devin.
Kira, this decision is 6-3, written by Justice Samuel Alito. And
you'll never guess which 6 and which 3. But if you pay attention to this stuff, you already know. Yeah, I'm Malachi. Yeah, insane backward idiot logic. Absolutely.
It's a significant decision and a setback for the landmark Voting Rights Act of 1965, which was passed to guarantee equality in how we vote. And, of course, addressing the systemic and historic racial discrimination, especially across the South. This decision came in a case out of Louisiana involving a court-ordered drawing addition of a second majority black district in that state because of the size of the state's population. And the Supreme Court today in this decision said that the court violated the 14th Amendment by adding, the state rather, violated the 14th Amendment by adding that district. They used race impermissibly consciously to add a second district to aid those voters, and they said that is simply not allowed under our Constitution. Justice Samuel Alito didn't go as far as saying race can never be used in drawing these maps. That's something the court has affirmed before to comply with the Voting Rights Act, but he put a significant new limit on how courts can order states to draw their maps to be more equitable. He said that Section 2 imposes liability only when evidence supports a strong inference that the state intentionally drew its map to discriminate. So a setback for
and that's going to happen in a lot of these places. The court, the politicians and the people who draw the districts are going to change it intentionally to take away minority votes in these states that you're talking about there. The redistricting in progress in Florida, as you can see on this little map here, and then the other orange states there on this map are considering it, and they are absolutely going to do that. This decision by the Supreme Court today is going to set off a chain reaction, a mad dash for every state to redraw all of its districts, and they all will. All the red states will gerrymander in favor of red. All the blue states will gerrymander in favor of blue, and I'm here for it. This is a shitty decision that is done for shitty reasons. I understand the idea of of not wanting to do things just based on someone's race, but specifically, we were doing government and drawing of borders and red lines and zoning of cities to exclude the black people. We used to do that intentionally. Our governments used to do that on purpose. The only way to undo that is not to get rid of that law, is to go the other direction and say, no, we're forcing you to integrate. Forced integration is the only way to overcome that problem, and that's what the Voting Rights Act was doing. It's forcing those districts to come together. And they said, no, you can't do that because that's racist. It's racist to try and help the people who've been harmed by racism because you're only doing it because of their race. And that was their basic argument, is no, you can't help the black people because you're helping them based on their race, you see. So you're the racist. That's what they're telling you. It's madness and silly. Alito argued historic discrimination doesn't count as a justification. That was the whole fucking point. Yeah, exactly. He's like, when you explain that things used to be set specifically to be racist, the government was racist, the people in charge of the state were racist, they were doing it intentionally. They were drawing these lines that were segregating on purpose. That was a matter of law. That wasn't just like, hey, we don't like to hang out with them. It was literally a matter of law, where you couldn't buy a house, where the businesses would get licenses, where the zoning for the sewage treatment plants would be. Not in the white neighborhoods. No. Not in the nice parts of town. All of this has to be actually not just ignore, not just disintegrate the laws. You have to force people together. You have to stir that melting pot. You have to go to the melting pot and stir it around a little bit. That's how it works. If you don't stir it, you just get little clumps of little different pieces that are melted, right? So you have to stir it. And that's what the Voting Rights Act was doing. It was stirring that melting pot. They've gotten rid of that. And we will see a mad dash for all the states to redistrict all over the place in the next 6 months. Next 6 months are going to be a fucking madhouse of redistricting, left, right, and center, everywhere. See right here, Republicans rush to redraw electoral maps just hours after the SCOTUS guts Voting Rights Act. So they're already on it. They're on it today. They're already on it. It's going to happen. Mere hours after the U.S. Supreme Court garroted the Voting Rights Act, safeguards against racial gerrymandering, Republicans across the nation, particularly in the South, called on GOP legislatures to redraw congressional maps ahead of November's midterm elections. Florida was already working on a new gerrymandering map, which passed both chambers hours after the court's decision was announced. But as the ink was still drying the Supreme Court's opinion, many Republicans rushed to catch up with the Sunshine State. Tennessee governor posted a picture of an all-red congressional map in the state, saying, I urge our state legislature to reconvene and redistrict another Republican seat in Memphis. It's essential to cement Donald Trump's agenda. Jose Ron, sorry. I read that as Jose, J-O-S-E. I read too fast. I was like, it can't be a guy named Jose in Tennessee. Representative John Rose of Tennessee made a similar call on X, saying that one district held by Democrats there should be redrawn to the GOP's advantage. Memphis deserves Republican representation in Congress. Today's Supreme Court ruling paves the way for that. Terrible. I don't want to sound crazy. I don't want to go a little bit too far. But this might actually push us closer to a civil war. At least a little bit, right? All the red states are going to gerrymander. All the blue states are going to gerrymander. And there won't be any red representation in the blue states. There won't be any blue representation in the red states. Which means you're being taxationed without representation. That might be another little pile of kindling. They could start a fire. That's all I'm thinking. That's what I'm saying. And everybody's on board for this. Not everybody's on board for it, but everybody's going to do their best to maximize the profit that they get from it. In Georgia, Greg Dolezal is also calling for a special legislation session to redraw the maps. It may be too late for many of these states to act ahead of 26 midterms. Mail-in ballots in the primaries have already been sent out in every southern state aside from Tennessee, Florida, and lawmakers in those states would need time to redraw, introduce, debate, vote upon, and enact new maps. Okay, so some of them, maybe I'm overreacting to this 2026 election. Alabama redistricting before May 19th primary would be practically impossible given that it has already sent out ballots as required by the Uniform and Overseas Act. Absentee Voting Act. Okay, so they've got a primary that starts on May 19th, and that's only 20 something days away, so you can't be changing the voting districts that fast, that soon. Georgia's May 19th as well. Early person in voting is already underway in Georgia, while it begins May 2nd in Louisiana. So even Louisiana could quickly revert the map it adopted before it switched to the court-ordered one that was struck down. It is still likely too late for this year's contestants. Okay. Still asked whether the state should redraw its maps. President Trump said that he would, because of course he would. He will draw the maps that just have his name on them. He would just draw all the maps. We would just have all the states named after him. Don Sylvania, Donald, Florida, Trump. No, he would just rename them all after himself. Texas would just become Donald, New Trump, and what other states would he invent? He might name one after his kids or something like that. Montana becomes Melania, but only because that's the one that has the least amount of people in it. It's least important, really. So yeah, that might happen. And we wouldn't have a Gulf of Mexico anymore, or a Gulf of America. We would have a Gulf of Trump. And then the Trump Atlantic Ocean, and then the Trump Pacific Ocean. He would rename
North
all
and
of it.
South Trump, as well as North and South Donald.
Yeah, I could see that. That would be good. That would be great. But yeah, anyway, he would rename them all, but that's because he's a terrible person. And he would redraw all of these maps as quickly as possible. So let's not forget everybody's doing this. AOC calls for more Democratically leaning states to redraw election maps after Supreme Court's ruling on the GOP push. Of course she does.
I have long felt that we all have to play by the
Damn it. Volume. There we go.
same set of rules. And the Republican caucus has made it very clear that they want and are setting rules of partisan gerrymandering. The Democratic caucus has tried to pass nonpartisan gerrymandering for 10 years. Republicans
That is true. They did try and pass that.
have rejected it. And so we have to all abide by the same rules. And so if Republicans are going to redraw North Carolina, if they're going to redraw Texas, if they're going to redraw and gerrymander every one of their states, then unfortunately we have to provide balance to that until we get to the day where we can all finally agree to put this behind us and pass nonpartisan gerrymandering federally.
And that won't happen until after some kind of civil war. And I mean that, like, that won't happen until some sort of violent altercation in between the left and the right, the red and the blue teams. It just won't happen. The Republicans are never going to accept it. They're never going to accept it. It doesn't matter how poorly drawn or how poorly they do in the House. If Republicans still lose the House because Dems win all these states and they have the states with all the people, and then they redraw it as to their liking, and Republicans lose year after year after year after year, election after election, they're still not going to change it because they like controlling the things. They like controlling the districts. They do. They like controlling that thing so that they are in charge of it, not some random boring person who draws a bunch of squares. They don't want that. They will refuse because the people in charge would still rather win themselves through this means than possibly lose their seat themselves. It's like they would have to sacrifice some of their own power, and they refuse to ever do that. So you have to beat them into submission. You actually have to drag them forward into the future, kicking and screaming, whether they like it or not. So that's kind of the thing that we have to do here. The Dems need to gerrymander like mad as much as they can over the next 2 years, and then force the fair, non-gerrymandering, non-political gerrymandering bill through. They need to do that. And if they don't do that, I'll complain about it. And I'll say that AOC is being, duplicitous if she doesn't vote for it in the future. So yeah, that was the big news today. Big news. That was the big one today. So what else do we got? We've got a couple of other things to talk about today. Do we want to do the assassin first or the very stupid people interviewed by the New York Times? Let's do the assassin guy first. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. So we all know, we all saw it. The minute I turned off my damn stream, somebody tries to murk the president at the press correspondence dinner. And it's very dumb. Like, he didn't get anywhere close. It's not like he was inches away. He was very far away. He ran through one checkpoint, and then they immediately started shooting him. It's not like he had a chance. He didn't get any close. He didn't get close. He didn't get anywhere near. He wasn't even as close as the last two guys. Okay. Don't let the Republicans trick you. Don't let them lie to you. Don't let them scare you into thinking he was just steps away. He was mere moment. No. The minute Naruto ran through that checkpoint, they immediately started shooting at him, and everybody heard it. We're not even sure if he got a shot off. Some people are saying that he didn't get any shots off. Some people are saying he only got one, and he hit a Secret Service agent in the bulletproof vest. And some are saying that was friendly fire from another Secret Service agent at that agent. And there's no way that they would ever admit to that. Even if the Secret Service did friendly fire another Secret Service agent, they're not going to tell you. And Donnie and the current administration is filled with super liars anyway. And they lie about war. They lie about death. They lie about how many soldiers died. They're definitely going to lie to you about friendly fire from the Secret Service. So you can't believe them. And it's probably never going to come up, never going to be, it's not even that big a deal. But so if he shot once or none, I mean, it's not that big a deal between those two things. It is a big deal, but I'm not saying whether one way or the other. 6-7. Did he shoot or did he not? The important part is, the thing that I think we should take away from this is that he's not a crazy person. He's really not. I mean, did he do a crazy thing? Yeah, but he's not a lunatic. I've been watching schizophrenics do crazy things on the internet for a very long time. I've been watching absolute lunatics. I was a member of the, I was in conspiracy theorist circles. You know, I was watching lots of crazy people do lots of crazy things. I also watched a doggy. It's a Bobo break. Oh God, you're wet. Why are you wet? Oh, we were watering the yard. Bobo is here, and he is stinky and wet. Wet dog. Wet doggy. Yes, you're a wet dog. Say hi to the people, Stinky. Okay, all right. He's got to go. He can't sit still any longer. What did he bring me?
Hi, Bobo.
What did he bring me? He brought a bone? Yeah, he brought a bone. We had churros last night, and he got a churro and brought it under my desk. And now there's just cinnamon and sugar all over the floor underneath my desk, and it's driving me nuts. It keeps getting stuck on my feet. I hate it. There he is. Little stinky monster. Anyway, what the hell was I talking about? Oh, yeah. The assassin who's kind of a normal guy. The assassin wasn't on the FBI's radar, sources say. Leaked Cole Allen resume, former friends shed light on the alleged attacker. So let's read up about him. Cole Allen was never flagged by the FBI's sprawling domestic counterterrorism. That's the most dangerous kind of people that aren't on the FBI's counterterrorism pages. Sources including a senior FBI official tell me the 31-year-old alleged gunman who attempted to penetrate the White House Correspondents' Center on Saturday was, by all appearances, a normal guy until he wasn't. Allen himself was reportedly stunned by what he called the insane lack of security at the Washington Hilton, a venue that had hosted the dinner for decades and was the site of the attempt on Ronald Reagan's life in 1981. Video shows that after guests were seated, the Secret Service agents and D.C. Metropolitan Police security people were shooting the shit as Allen ran by. They started shooting him. Now rumors are swirling that Allen is some anti-Christian zealot aided by the networks of left-wing compatriots. Madness. None of that's true. No, folks, he's an anti-Christian zealot aided by the network of left-wing compatriots. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche says the FBI is looking into whether Allen was operating alone. But who was he? And what did he represent? The answer, drawn from a copy of his resume I obtained in interviews with people who knew him, is unsettlingly its ordinariness. Allen graduated from Caltech in 2017, STEM powerhouse, with a mechanical engineering degree. He went to work for IJK Controls, small Southern California engineering firm, where he worked for the kind of precision hardware that keeps cameras and sensors stable on moving platforms. Amazing. He also made video games, not modded existing ones, but he built them from the ground up. His most notable project, Boredom, was entirely his own. The underlying physics system that governed how objects moved and collided, 750 original graphics, and a score he composed himself. Should I play that on stream? Oh my God! Can you imagine the triggered MAGA would get if you played this on stream? I might do that. Find out if it's on Steam, somebody, and I'll play it. Former classmates say this feat wasn't uncommon for tech-savvy Caltech, where seniors often build elaborate puzzle games for underclassmen, a tradition called Ditch Day Stack. Allen, by all accounts, threw himself into the endeavor. He seemed proud of it. Said he was studious, devout, and polite. He was pretty prominent at the Caltech Christian Fellowship. Pretty Christian and mellow is what they described him as. But the liars within the Trump administration are going to call him anti-Christian. If I didn't see his face eating carpet, I would never have believed it. Yeah, and there's his face eating carpet. Right. When you read his manifesto, which we will hear in a moment, he hates Christians, Trump said. He hates Christians. When you read his manifesto, he hates Christians. He hated Christians. A hatred. Absolute fucking lie. I hate that Donnie just gets to go on the TV and say whatever the damn hell he wants. It's amazing. He just goes on there and he just makes shit up. Oh, it's fucking irritating. It's on Steam. You can't buy or download it. Damn. Okay. Shit. Okay. Well, that's too bad. Just for the lulls. I might play it on stream. I'll try and find it. Anywho, so a blizzard of unnamed administration officials echoed this Trump claim on major media outlets. The president, says a blatant, super duper lie, and then Fox News just repeats it. And everybody on the news just says it over and over and over again, as if it were true. I hate that about us. Can we not just say that's a lie anymore? I swear, I just want somebody on the damn news to be like, oh, Donald Trump said that he hates Christians and that's a lie. So don't repeat it. just for one of the shows on CNN, they got 24 whole damned hours a day. Half an hour. Have a guy come on there and be like, this is what Trump said. It's a lie. Don't repeat it. Here's what he said. Here's the clip. Here's a lie. Don't repeat it. And we'll call it the Don't Repeat It Show. It'll be great. It'll get a lot of ratings, I think. Anywho, that's not what the manifesto says. If anything, it appears that Trump's portrayal of himself as Jesus Christ, the AI-generated image of robed Trump healing the sick, might have provoked Allen. And also, an alleged copy of his manifesto, reported by the New York Post, shows Allen invoking Christian theology to defend the shooting, working through gospel passages one by one, like someone who has spent real time with the Bible. Unlike Donald Trump, who's never read it, doesn't know what's in it, and couldn't point to the damn thing, point to anything in it if he needed to. In a section of the manifesto titled Rebuttals and Objections, the first rebuttal addresses the gospel injunction to turn the other cheek, a teaching from the Sermon on the Mount in Matthew 5:38-39, where Jesus instructs his followers not to retaliate against personal wrongs done to them. Allen reframes it as inapplicable when others are the ones suffering.
Best viewers.
You stupid robot, precise powerhouse. You idiot. You buffoon. I already have the best viewers. Get out of here. We're banning you. Ha 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 ha. Makes me feel good. Anywho, from Cole Allen's manifesto, objection number 1. As a Christian, you should turn the other cheek. Rebuttal. Turning the other cheek is for when you yourself are oppressed. I am not the person raped in a detention camp. I am not the fisherman executed without trial. I'm not a school kid blown up or a child starved or a teenage girl abused by the many criminals in this administration. Turning the other cheek when someone else is oppressed is not Christian behavior. It is complicity in the oppressor's crimes. This was from his manifesto. And it doesn't sound or seem like that crazy of an idea. That sounds like something you'd hear on maybe a live stream. Then he addresses render unto Caesar, a phrase from the synoptic gospel of Matthew 22:21, Mark 12:17, Luke 20:25, in which Jesus, when asked whether Jews should pay taxes to Rome, replies that one should give Caesar what is Caesar's and what's God's God's. The passage has been cited for centuries to argue for deference to political authority. Allen disputes that framing on constitutional grounds. Oh, let's hear his theological argument. Yield unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Rebuttal. The United States of America are ruled by the law, not by any one or several people. Not by any one or several people. I mean, they should be ruled by the law. Insofar as representatives and judges do not follow the law, no one is required to yield them anything so unlawfully ordered. That's what he's saying. He's telling you, what is he saying here? He's saying that if the fucking president doesn't have to follow the laws, why the fuck should we? That's what he's telling you. He's telling you that these judges keep breaking the law. They keep making shit up as they go. It's only a matter of time before everybody else starts doing it. He's not crazy. He's ahead of the curve. Is he over intellectualizing? Maybe, but that isn't. I don't think he's doing a good job here. I just think that is where other people are about to land. More and more people are getting here. More and more people are getting to this point. Because I've been slightly, just ever so slightly, hinting at a civil war, and I don't think it's going to be quite as bad as the last civil war, but it is going to get ugly after this midterm. Violence will happen after this midterm, one way or the other. And there are more and more normal people wrestling with the idea that if the government isn't following the law, why are we? And if Donald's friends just get pardoned, even though they've broken the law, how many fraudsters has he pardoned? Lots of them. Because they pay him. They pay him $2 million rather than the government $1 billion, and they get pardoned. Old Rudy Giuliani, he was selling pardons, promising people pardons. If you give Donald $2 million and give Rudy $1 million, you get a pardon. That's it. Which makes a joke of the whole system. If he can break the laws, he can change the system, he can ignore the things, he can put tariffs on something, and then 6 months later, they're deemed illegal, and he can't return the money, and he can't turn it off, and he can't fix it, and nobody knows how to return the money. Well, did he just get away with it? Doge fired a lot of people illegally. Can we get them back? Nobody knows. Can you sue them? Nobody knows. Anyway, let me keep reading. A third reference to religion appears in the brief. Thank you to his church. Thank you to my family, both personal and church, for the love over these 31 years. He doesn't sound like a hateful Christian to me, Donnie. Sorry. He doesn't sound like he hates Christians to me, Mr. Trump. There will be no rest day or night for those who worship the beast and its image, or for anyone who receives the mark of its name. He's talking about the MAGA hats. I really do think that there's some, maybe a little bit of truth to the people who, because that, I don't like, the Bible to me is a fictional story, but it mentions the mark of the beast, that the people will have it on their head or on their hands, and it'll be necessary for you to do business. You're going to have the mark, on your forehead. It's right here. This is it. This is it. This is the mark. If you don't have this, you don't get to do business in America. If Donald gets his way, if they do what they want, if they get to cheat to this next midterm election, and then Donnie wins his third term in office, this will become mandatory. And if you don't have one of these, you're not going to be allowed to participate in society. You might even be hunted down and thrown into a camp. Perhaps the sharpest irony comes from a former classmate, a story a former classmate shared with me. Alan was once president of Caltech's Nerf Club. Yeah, this is a weird story about how I read this earlier, about he didn't want the Nerf guns to look like real weapons. That's kind of weird. I didn't think there's anything important there, so I'm skipping it. Luigi Mangione, who, again, kind of a normal guy. So that's two kind of normal people. What happens when we get a few more normal people who've had enough? They're ahead of the curve. These shooters aren't antisocial loners of media imagination. They're smart, well-liked, often idealistic. They have no prior criminal record. They take pains to avoid bystander casualties, as Allen reportedly did. But they share one conviction, that the political system has failed completely and someone has to act. From his manifesto, it says, I don't see anyone else picking up the slack. Trump's comments on Allen's hatred of Christianity, however, accurate, echo the language of the National Security Directive NSP 7, which labels anti-Christianity as an indicator for domestic terrorism. So, never let a tragedy go to waste. Donald Trump is trying to connect this definitely Christian-believing person as anti-Christian so that he could push the NSPM 7 ideas, which would call anyone who says anything mean about Christianity online into a domestic terrorist. They want this domestic terrorist label widely distributed. They want so many more people to be considered domestic terrorists so that they can put you in jail. If you protest ICE, you're a domestic terrorist, you got to go to jail. Same main things about Trump online. Domestic terrorist, you go to jail. Do a protest in front of the White House. Domestic terrorist, go to jail. try to prevent, I don't know, carry a sign out in front of the Supreme Court after they take your rights away. Domestic terrorists go to jail. That is what they want for you. That is what they want for everyone. That is what they want for the country, because that's what they need to hold on to power.
Gonna be like Oprah handing out
Gonna be
labels
like,
of domestic
Oprah
terrorists
handing
as a
out
gift.
labels of domestic terrorists as a gift. Yeah, kind of. You're a domestic terrorist, and you're a domestic terrorist, and you're a domestic terrorist. We're all domestic terrorists. Whoa. Be a good time. The only question is if anyone will ask why increasingly normal people feel the political system is so unresponsive to their concerns that they resort to violence. And that's exactly how he got there. He has taken a look at the systems that we have, and he thinks, and I think he's still wrong at the moment, for now, at least for the next 6 months, he is incorrect. But the thing he thinks is that peaceful change is impossible. That was his idea. That is the thought that is in his head. Peaceful change is impossible. And if that's the case, violent change is inevitable. So, when the Republicans work their ass off to gerrymander the states, when the Republicans work their ass off to lie about who is and isn't a domestic terrorist, when the Republicans work their ass off to get rid of peaceful protests and your freedom of speech and the freedom of the press, because they're working on that shit too, peaceful change will become closer and closer and closer to impossible. More and more people will decide that violent change is inevitable. And they will take that into their own hands. Patriot Act is the worst piece of legislation in modern history. Will be our downfall. Yeah, absolutely. This has, the expanding of the word terrorist is absolutely going to get us into a civil war. It really will. Also from Ken Klippenstein, the only real journalist left, which is why I show his stuff off so often. Cole Allen hated the Democrat Party too. The alleged shooter's views were more mainstream than you've been told. So, extremist, radicalized, leftist, anti-Christian Democrat. To read the coverage of Cole Allen, the alleged White House Correspondents Association dinner gunman, you'd think that he was a poster boy for the administration's belief that the country is under siege from a far-left insurgency. The evidence, as you'll see, says otherwise, but everyone from the White House to major media outlets are sticking to the script regardless. President Trump declared Allen radicalized. That's just a fucking lie. RNC Chairman Joe Grutters blamed the radicalized left for the incident. Another lie, calling it the inevitable result of radicalized left that has normalized political violence. More lies. Todd Blanche said investigators were probing any connections Allen may have had to far left groups or were looking for accomplices and co-conspirators. Every hyperliberal MS Now, formerly MSNBC, justice and intelligence correspondent Ken Dilanian parrots the administration line, claiming Allen is one of several attackers on the far left fringes. So it really fits the pattern of what we've seen with Luigi Mangione, accused of killing United Healthcare CEO Tyler Robinson, accused of killing Charlie Kirk, of these sorts of people on the far left fringes who become radicalized. Not a far left guy, not on the fringe, not radicalized, who are living in a world of unreality, bombarded by conspiracy theories, who decide that they have to take violent action. Madness, nonsense. Whoever fucking wrote this and said this shit does not know what anything is. They are not connected to reality. They're not connected to the actual things that are happening in real life. Normal people are looking at Donald Trump and thinking that he's a goddamn idiot who does not know what he's doing. They think he's a moron. They think he's a lying sack of shit. But he's their lying sack of shit, you know? So the more people say, hey, this guy doesn't know what he's doing, he's been lying to us, he lied to us about everything, none of the things he's saying are true, and he's running for a third term, probably, maybe, and he's breaking the midterms, and they're cheating at the whole gerrymandering thing, and the prices of everything are going up, and he's doing a war. you're going to get more and more people like this. There are more Cole Allens on the way. There are more Cole Allens on the way. Nothing you can do about it. Well, there is something you can do about it. Stop being fascist. Stop doing Trump stuff. Stop being hard right dictators. Trump administration, if you want fewer Cole Allens, stop doing the things you're doing. Stop pushing NSPM 7. Stop pushing the far right agenda that you've got. They are in MAGA fantasy land. Yeah, the people who are upset about this are upset because he is not a crazy person. That's why they're trying to paint him so damn hard. So that when the normies look at him, they will see a crazed, radicalized, bombarded by conspiracy theorist, violent monster. That's what they want you to see. So the first thing we have to do is decide what the president wants you to see. Throw that out the window and decide, and then start looking for what's real. Look at what is actually here. Look what is actually happening. But I've written Luigi Mangione. Oh, sorry. Yeah, the $5 a gallon near the freeways are made. Yeah, that's what a lot of the normies pay attention to. They only pay attention to gas prices and foreign wars that America is involved in. And so it's looking bad for Donnie with the normies right now. But as our friend Ken Klippenstein has written of Luigi Mangione, Tyler Robinson, and now Cole Allen, they were neither far left nor any partisan fringe. Instead, they were united in a sense of frustration with failed institutions defined by inaction and a determination to embody the opposite through shocking spectacles of action. What nobody in power wants to admit is that the belief that institutions have failed as a mainstream as Taylor Swift, not the fringe radicalism of 70s outfits like the Weather Underground that pundits keep invoking. Yeah, stop being a Trumper is like asking an addict to stop heroin. Yeah, I know it is, but it's possible. If it gets you killed, if Trumpism takes all your money and then leaves you with not enough money to keep going, maybe you stop a cold turkey by accident just because you ain't got none no more. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe this is not a very good analogy on my part. Allen, his social media posts reveal, was not singularly focused on Trump. I am. He had plenty of contempt for Democrat leaders too, a contempt for both parties that, far from being fringe, actually puts squarely in the majority of American opinion. By early 25, the Democrat Party has sunk to historic lows, 27% approval in NBC, 29% at CNN, low. And hating the political establishment may once have made you a member of the radical fringe, but those days are long gone. Strange as it may seem, Allen is, politically speaking, a dime a dozen. Ken Klippenstein, our last journalist, last one to exist, he's very special, he's the last journalist, is telling you that Allen is a dime a dozen. That's why I'm telling you there will be more. That's why I'm saying that there will be more. Because he's not a crazy person. He's just lost hope. And that hope of peaceful change keeps everyone else from doing what he did. When you lose that hope of peaceful change, more and more people will go towards the inevitable violence. Maybe they'll croak from withdrawals. Maybe the situation is far from money. It's about fuel and fertilizer. Yeah, and that is something else that will hurt the American middle class. They don't know it yet, and they're about to find out that all of the fuel and fertilizer is going to go up too. Everything else is going to go up. Everything is going to go up because of that, and that is just what they generally gauge the politics on. That's how they use to determine how good the president is doing, is that price of gas. I mean, I've talked to people, and I have even like family members who were like, who just thought Joe Biden had a knob in the White House that he turned up and down for the price of gas. And he turned it up because he hates them. And because Donnie loves them, Donnie turned it down. They just don't know the complicated thing. They've never heard of OPEC. They don't know where Qatar is. They've never heard of, they can't name any Saudi princes. But they know that Joe Biden hates them, so he turns the gas price up. And Donnie loves them, so he turned the gas price down. That's how they vote. And they're allowed to. It's amazing, isn't it? So much for buying American because I'm going to get a Honda. I know. I would, God, the American cars are too big. They really are. They're just too damn big. They're 9 foot tall and 14 feet wide. You can't even park the damn things. It's madness because everything has to be bigger. Everything has to go up in price. The investors at Ford need to make more money now this year than they made last year, or else Ford is dying. So they have to add more metal, add more parts, add more features, add more functionality, add more. Make it more expensive. I think the entire American car market is about to collapse, and then we'll be buying cheap Chinese electric vehicles for a quarter of what we are paying now. Futures and spot prices are going to unite, and then there's no way to have it. It's going to be it's going to be a mess. And that's because we hired a criminal to run the country, and they don't know what they're doing. These are his social media posts. So let's look at some of Cole Allen's social media posts. Quote, if this is the extent to which Democrat leadership is willing to lead, it is time to form an actual third party. Do you know how many normal people say shit like that? Let's see. Quote, at this point, might be faster to replace it with a new party. Call it the Do Something Party. He said in another post, one of countless hints that is frustration with political inaction. Another quote, if this is the level of analysis coming out of the leaders of the Dem Party, might as well be ready for a new party. I swear the Democrat Party does not comprehend the concept of priorities. By March, he was calling for the ouster and top-ranking Democrat in Congress, Chuck Schumer. I talk mad shit about Chuck Schumer. That's what I'm saying. Like, if that guy was just posting this shit in my chat or in my YouTube comments, I'd be giving him thumbs up. I'd be clapping for him. I'd be reading his shit out loud on stream if he were in here saying that shit. Trading your dollars for yuan. Absolutely. Go for it. Don't become a mass shooter, please. Or don't try to assassinate the president. Don't do that. That's a bad sign. That's a bad call. At the moment, I'm telling you, there is still hope for peaceful change. That still happens. That can still happen. If 6 months from now, the midterms go wrong and ICE is at the poll places tear gassing people, and they start confiscating votes and vote machines and doing all kinds of fuckery, then maybe we will reassess that situation. We will have to reassess at that time. But for now, as it stands, peaceful change is still possible. Let's see. Let's read one more quote from him. Schumer's acting like an RPG player who hoards every single potion power-up consumable he comes across because maybe I'll need them later. Okay. Schumer's assignment was not turned in on time. And to call Allen a foot soldier of the Democrat left requires ignoring much of what he posted online. It's a convenient narrative. It casts political violence as a product of partisan extremism rather than what his polling actually suggests, a broad bipartisan collapse of faith in American institutions and their leadership. So this is what most people are feeling right now. A broad bipartisan collapse of faith in American institutions and their leadership. And because of that, normal people are going to do violence. They're gonna. I'm sorry. I wish it wasn't that way, but it is. And I need the government to know that. I need all of the politicians to recognize that. We all need to know that this is coming. So you won't be surprised. I'm not going to be surprised because I already know it's coming. The people on Fox News are going to be not going to be surprised either, but they are going to blame the wrong people and the wrong things and the wrong stuff. Now, I told you I've been looking at crazy people for a long time. This is Time Cube. Do you guys remember Time Cube? Do you guys remember Time Cube? That was a schizophrenic. Okay, that man had a manifesto. Okay, I'm going to show you some of it. Let's look at. This is. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. What do we do wrong? What do we do? Okay, can we scroll in on that? Okay. Earth has 4 corner, simultaneous 4-day time cube. In only 24-hour rotation, 4 corner days, cube 4 quad Earth. Number one day God. Free speech in America is bullshit. Evil educators. Block and suppress timecube.com. You are educated evil and might have to kill the evil one capitalized, teaching educators before you can learn that 4 corner days actually exist, but all cube truth denied. Dumbass educator, fear me and hide from debate. See, okay, this, come on, fucking thing, is a schizophrenic who's putting up a nice, this is a, there's so much noise outside I can't concentrate. Be right back. I'm closing this window. Can you guys hear that? You might not be able to hear it, but it is distracting me. Did you get a look at my butt? You should. It's not there. Good luck. Nothing to see. Anywho, now this is a manifesto. Okay, the Time Cube guy was real schizophrenic, spitting manifestos. It was great. Most of it's been lost. There's another one of his drawings. This is the drawing of the Earth. At midday, Socrates lives here, and then at sundown, the Clintons live here, and then Einstein lives here at midnight, and then at sunup, Jesus lives there. And that's your Earth spinning around, and it's a 4-day cycle. None of this makes any sense, and it is insanity. But I've been watching people like this for a very long time. So what is my point? My point is Cole Allen is not a lunatic. Luigi Mangione is not a schizophrenic lunatic who's posting up shit like this. These are normal people. And when the normal people start running towards your politicians with violence in their heart, it's time to change what you're doing. So that is all I'm going to say on that. Thanks for being here. Do you guys remember Time Cube? It was one of my favorites. So it's about 8 o'clock. Okay, good. Timing is working out properly. You don't hear anything. Oh yeah, you can't hear the guy out, but he's right outside that when he's on his side of the street, leaf blowing like crazy, and it throws my game off. It makes me not able to think about anything but the leaf blowing noise. So let's go. Well, I'm glad that you don't hear it. That means I set up my noise gates on my microphone properly, because I do not actually know anything about microphones. And I just go to YouTube and look up how to set up microphone for streams. And then I just do whatever they tell me. Because I don't know. So if you're watching, hop in the chat, tell me what you're thinking, tell me what you're feeling. Go on over to the Discord, and you can leave links to fun stories, or you can leave memes or cool photos. I do need a breaking news thing to flash on the screen. You know, I have all these cool things that I can flash on the screen. If I'm pretending to be a doctor, I put this one on. And when I'm pretending to be MAGA, I put this one on. And when I'm yelling at myself and telling myself to edit something later, I put on my editor hat. And then when I need to point at the chart, I point at the chart. You've seen me do this. And during Halloween, we get haunted by a ghost. And then when I ban people, I feel good when I ban people. And so I just go Super Saiyan when I ban people. But I need one for breaking news. Breaking news. I need something with to put on the screen. So if you want to go and make a cool little graphic thing, if graphic design is your passion, go on over to the Discord, and I will put whatever you make on the screen for breaking news. It can be a cartoon. It could be a cool little logo. It could just be a funny hat that says breaking news. But yeah, go on over there, make some breaking news thing, and then I'll put it on the screen. Am I using an anti-noise plugin for the audio? It's no, not a plugin. I just set the things, the gates, and the something else the way that some YouTuber told me to. They were like, hey, here's how you set your mic up for stream. Go to here, go to the setting, go to that, set this gate to number -1, set this threshold to +2. And then I just did that. And you couldn't hear the leaf blower that was very loud in my ears. So that makes me feel like I did it right. And when I whisper, it still shows up in the yellow right here where it should, which is really nice. So, and then when I talk, it just shows up at the exact same place. That makes me feel like I've done it correctly. I could have stumbled into correctness. I do it all the time. It's kind of the story of my life. I just fall and then end up in a better position than I was before I fell down. So enough about me. Nobody's here to hear about my microphone. What the hell are we doing? Let's do some politics. Okay. So the New York Times recently did something, well, no, it's not something stupid. They just did the thing that they do sometimes. They found 12 Trump voters and asked them what they thought. Now, usually this is a bad idea. You shouldn't find 12 Trump voters and ask them what they think, because they don't think. They feel everything, and they feel it so strongly that they tell you that that's fact. That is how they operate. I haven't read most of this. I saw a couple of the clips and a couple of the little carve-outs that people turn into blue sky skeets, but I haven't read all of it. So I'm going to read all this with you. We're going to feel how these people feel, and we'll put on our hat and we'll try and diagnose them, and we'll determine if they're crazy or if they're mistaken or how they got that way. And then I will tell you why they voted for Trump, why they will do it again, and what the Dems are going to do in the future. So this is probably going to be my YouTube video for Friday. So I'm going to turn this to a YouTube video. So hop in here, talk in the chat, tell me what you think and how you're feeling. And you can be on YouTube. Is that fun? Let's go. Okay. "80% of Republicans approve of President Trump's performance, but his national standing has dipped, especially among independents. That leaves plenty of people who voted for Mr. Trump, but who may not feel good about the direction of the country. For Opinion's latest focus group, conducted earlier this month, we spoke with the voters like this, people who cast ballots for Mr. Trump, and said they were disappointed in his second term. A few even said they regretted their votes." So let's meet all our people. Here's our 12 random Americans. In one or two words, finish the sentence. "I'm feeling blank about the country these days. Disappointed and sad, disappointed and hopeful, concerned, worried, anxious, frustrated, annoyed, discouraged, surprised, and discouraged." I don't know what you could be surprised about. Chris, 42, white guy, an electrician. Christ almighty. He did not know Trump was going to do any of these things. He just thought, Kamala. I'm telling you right now, I'm calling it. Right here, right now, Chris, 42, white Republican electrician, thought Kamala was a communist, Marxist, fascist Nazi. That's what he's going to be like. I couldn't vote for her. She's a communist. She's concerned. John is apathetic, and this is betrayed. "Kitty, you said disappointed and hopeful. Tell me more. So much has happened." Let me do my Kitty voice. Asian, damn it. I can't do an Asian voice. Guys, I can't do an Asian lady voice. I'll get fucking canceled. I can't do it. And I literally can't do it. So, Kitty says, "So much has happened. We're starting to see we're getting disillusioned. And all these false promises are starting to be like, we know it for what it is now. Now that we know and we don't feel as naive or trusting, then we can properly create a path forward to going in better directions. So nothing. She's duck speak. Okay, great. Chris, my electrician buddy. Life is becoming more and more unaffordable. These prices of things like gasoline and food overall haven't come down. I thought it would just be a lot more affordable. Again, gasoline, gas, and foreign wars that America is in, sending our boys overseas, is the only thing that matter to most of the people in the middle. John, you said apathetic. Tell me why. I think the government is apathetic and not necessarily in tune with our concerns as citizens, but then I'm somewhat apathetic in the same regard because I'm just a guy. I vent with my friends. I vent with my family in the scheme of things. Is it going to move the needle? Probably not, but it's nice. John, the 62-year-old white Republican, is a packaging specialist. He says it doesn't matter what he does. He can't change anything. He's just a guy. Does that sound a little bit like Cole Allen, who ran into the press thing to shoot at the president? Kind of sounds like what he was talking about. Anyway, oops, wrong button. Let's keep reading. Francesca, why do you feel betrayed? We were made a lot of promises during the election. He made a lot of... Anyway, I can't go on about their grammar. I know that it's only been a year and a half, and I don't think I've really seen much progress towards even moving toward what he said he was going to do, such as a tax breaks, or helping with the education system. I feel like he just defunded a lot of the education systems in schools. I don't know why he made so many promises, because he's a liar, Francesca. Now, if you were told ahead of time that he was a liar, and I suspect that you were, you just ignored it because you didn't want to believe it. Have you felt this way for the last year and changed since Donald Trump has been in office, or have you felt this way for a long time? I think it's just, I guess, how it is. As I've grown up, it hasn't really gotten any better. It's hard to get home. I've been in apartments forever. I don't really see any hope for that kind of thing. Like a house? Is that what she's trying to say? Daniel said you feel annoyed. How do you feel annoyed? Well, living in California, our governor it's just all false promises from the governor of California. All these additional taxes that are coming out, money's not being well spent, just no accountability whatsoever. And with the current administration, it's something new every week. Doge, Venezuela, immigration, Iran. This week, the president's feuding with the Pope. I'm very disappointed. I served in the military. There's a reason I voted for Trump. Usually Republicans are pro-military, but this whole conflict with Iran is just uncalled for. Again, he's fallen into the very common trap of Republicans are pro-military. They're not. They love the military the way Michael Vick loves dogs. It's a very old joke, and someday it won't be relevant, but it's still the only joke that I know, and it's the best comparison I've ever made. Tell me more about why you voted for Trump, Nancy, 55 from Arizona. Ugh. Well, I'm an independent. Frankly, I just wasn't a fan of Kamala. She just wasn't a fan of Kamala. It was the lesser of two evils. I could have written in somebody, but I felt like I had better chance of a little hope with Trump. I was hoping that Congress and other branches would keep him in check, and then he'd have better advisors, and that maybe the second go around he'd learn some lessons, but it seems like just total chaos. She just wasn't a fan of Kamala, so she voted for the guy she assumed would be a lunatic. She assumed that the Congress and the other branches would keep him in check. Why would they need to keep Nancy, 55 from Arizona? Why would they need to keep him in check? Because he's a fucking lunatic who doesn't know the rules and breaks the law all the time. That's what gives you hope? That gives her hope that maybe... Yeah, the Democrat's boring. I'm not going to vote for the Democrat. They're boring. Maybe this lunatic can come in and shake things up. Has that worked for you ever in your life? Hey, my marriage is in kind of a rut. What if we brought in an axe murderer to really liven stuff up? I mean, my job is kind of boring and our company isn't going anywhere. And what if we brought in like an insane clown to chase people around with rusty scissors. That would really liven things up. Maybe something good could come of it. Maybe something great could come out of that. Maybe it could. No. Nancy, no. That's not how that works. That's never been a good idea. Alla, 51 from Alabama. Alla from Alabama. Great. When he was saying he would try to fix immigration, I was behind it. But then the way he did it, it's just not the way I agree with. Honey, Alla, honey, listen. At the Republican National Convention, they held up signs that said mass deportation now. If you didn't know they were going to do that, then you weren't paying attention. Alla, from Alabama, you did not do your homework. You did not become an informed voter. You became an uninformed voter. You became a dumb voter who wasn't paying attention, didn't know what was going on, and then voted for the person you thought looked better on TV. I don't know what specifically it made you vote for Trump, but maybe because he wasn't a lady and he wasn't black, or maybe it's just because you thought he was cool when he shit-talked people on TV. Regardless, if you didn't know they were going to try and do mass deportations and that the camps were coming, lots of people were telling you. Lots of people were telling you, and you didn't know it. That's your fault. Well, it turned out to be different. How ICE is treating people, and that's not the way to do it. Honey, listen, you were told you had more than enough time to learn this, and the people who should be trusted told you over and over and over again that that's exactly what was going to happen. And you didn't believe them, or you chose not to believe them. Or you said they thought they were exaggerating. And now you're unhappy with the choice you made. Jose from Florida. I thought he'd learned his lesson and was going to prove to everybody he learned from his mistakes. Why would you choose that? Why would you assume that? And he was going to turn the country around and he was going to be a stellar president. But it turned out to be a horror movie. I was so wrong to vote for him. Yes, Jose, you were wrong to vote for him. That's a stupid thing to say. That criminal guy who messed everything up and got in trouble for messing everything up and then lied all the time, he's learned his lesson and he would like another try. And Jose said, yes, absolutely. That guy's learned his lesson. He did all those crimes. He got impeached twice. But that was just a learning exercise for him. This is what we have to deal with. This is what we have to contend with. Why am I reading this stuff? Why am I getting so agitated and aggravated over this nonsense? Because these are the American voters. And they don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what's real. They don't know the left from the right. They don't know a fascist from a leftist. They don't know a Marxist from a Nazi. They don't know the difference between them. They can't tell because they're not educated properly. Because our media does a shit job of explaining these things. It's just tricking people into doing clicks so that they can make more money on soda and drug ads. That's all the media does anymore, is give you insanity, chaos, madness. They spit just whatever the hell will keep you on the TV for the next 4 minutes until their next drug commercial ad. What are you pointing to when you say things have turned into a horror movie? There's not one promise that he made that he's followed through on. He said we're not going to be in any wars. We have had wars. We're discriminating against everybody and looks different than us or believes in whatever religion or sexual preference. That's not what we're about. I don't watch the news anymore because I get depressed. Jose, all of these things happened during his first administration. All of the people who told you who to vote for told you this about him, but you didn't believe them. Pamela from 65. I was hopeful. I thought he was the lesser of two evils. She's from Tennessee. Let me give her a southern accent. I was hopeful. I thought he was the lesser of two evils. I voted for him the first time, too. I was hopeful that he had learned his lesson. But the thing that frustrates me the most is how he divides people. What is this learned his lesson fucking horse shit? What kind of, hey, that guy that totally did a bunch of crimes learned his lesson. Let's let him have another shot. No, fuck off. He committed a bunch of crimes while president. He got impeached twice. Don't let him try again. You don't just get another re-roll. Then we gave him a bunch of grades. Nobody gave him an A or a B. Chris, the electrician, gave him a C. That's the highest. I told you. I knew it. I could smell it on that guy. Then everybody's a D, and then a couple of Fs. Natan, I thought he was the lesser of two evils. Why do they think fucking Kamala's evil? She's boring, she's bland, but she's not evil. I've never understood this. I thought the second term would be a little better from the first, and the way the Democrats approach a lot of moral and social issues I didn't agree with me. You do. You just get misled by right-wing media. But prices are high as ever. Gas, anything consumer related is high with tariffs and everything. If you understand economic policy, tariffs are not the way to go because the cost is passed to the consumers. This guy understands more about tariffs than President Donald Trump. Natan, 19-year-old from Oregon, knows more about tariffs than Donald Trump. He really does. And I'm supporting Natan for to replace that old guy on the president's cabinet. The whole idea behind Doge, I liked and entertained. I entertained that they're actually going to clean up some deficient parts of the government that do all this spending and uncover fraud. Well, that's because they tricked you. Argenis 35 from Florida, they tricked you. They lied. None of that was true. It was all very exciting at first. Wow, okay, we're actually shifting in some kind of interesting direction that I haven't really seen before. But to piggyback off a lot of what the other folks said, and really it's my opinion too, but it's the fact a lot of the things that he said that he's going to do has just kind of derailed. And he's very emotional with his decisions. There's a lot of uncertainty as a result. So he's very emotional, and that's true. All conservatives are. But yeah, it's like it derailed. Well, because it was never true. Argenis. It was never true. There's not $3 trillion worth of fraud and waste in the American government. It's nonsense. It's not true. It's not real. So when people tell you about it, you shouldn't listen to them anymore. Are the things that have gone well, decisions he's made that you think are good? He promised a secure border, and that's what he did right away on day one. That was probably the biggest accomplishment so far. The only reason that we have fewer people is, one, they're not counting them anymore. Even if there were people sneaking in, they would not count it. No. So they're lying about the numbers. Second, they're deporting everybody they can, even the people who were here legally, innocently, and not doing anything wrong. They're getting sent to Djibouti. They're getting sent to Venezuelan concentration camps. And they're just terrorizing the people inside these camps. They're harming the people. They're separating the families. They're hurting the innocent people in these camps. So that stops people from trying to come over. So yes, it's true. If you shoot and kill everybody who walks across that border, people will stop trying to cross it. I don't think that's a good thing, and that's not a humane thing to do. That's a stupid thing to do. It's a shit thing to do. It's an illegal thing to do, and you shouldn't do it. It's an immoral, unethical thing to do. But Republicans would probably push for it. They'd be like, yeah, you know what? Okay, you cross that border, you get shot. I somewhat agree on the border comment. Part of what bothers me regarding is the fact that it seems to be just one ethnicity type that's being targeted in regards to immigration. No shit, huh, Michelle? Oh, okay, great, Michelle. Did maybe everybody tell you that ahead of time? He's not trying to clean up both sides of the country's borders. He's just more consistent in treating immigrants as immigrants and not just one demographic. And not just one demographic. Then I would agree wholeheartedly. But the one thing that he's done right, and that I always give him grade that I gave him, is the fact that he's been tough on crime, and especially addressing the cartels. Crime was already on the way down. Being more draconian in your crime stats in your punishment doesn't make people less likely to do crime. There was a lot of crime. No, Francesca, there wasn't. And he did cut down on a lot of that. No, he didn't. Not all that crime was coming from immigrants, but there were groups of people that were just allowed here freely that were taking advantage of the country. What the fuck are you talking about? They still don't know what they're talking about. And he did close the border as much as possible to where they weren't coming in anymore. But I do feel the way he is handling immigration now is a bit of an abuse of power. John says he did initiate the end of the penny, silly as that is, and he initiated getting us out of the World Health Organization. Oh, John, 62 from Maryland, is a conspiracy theorist. They got rid of the penny, and he got us out of the WHO and the Paris Climate Agreement. Two positive things, I guess. If you really look at it on the whole, I mean, that was accounting for a lot of our budget money. No, the fuck it wasn't, John. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. He kind of does what he wants. Okay, so what are the promises that have fulfilled? He kind of does what he wants, almost without any repercussions. I mean, the Kennedy Center, the Kennedy Trump Center, I mean, he got a little bit of a pushback, but he's doing it. I mean, I don't like it, but he does what he says he's going to do, whether we like it or not. That's not a good thing for President John. You don't want a president who acts like a bully and shoves you around and does whatever the hell he wants anyway. That's not a good thing. John likes it because he likes being bullied by someone larger than him. He enjoys it. He's a white guy from fucking Maryland, which means he's probably some sort of a cuck anyway. So he watches cuck porn. He loves it. I'm just assuming this about him. And then he likes it when Trump is mean to him. He would high-five Trump as he came to have sex with John's wife. He would. John would high-five him and be like, "Get in there, big dog." And then he would watch and enjoy it. Anyway, I'm putting a lot on John here. Natan, he did secure the border and slow down immigration by harming everyone involved and hurting lots of people. He did it his way, and a lot of it is bad. He could have done it in a much, much better way. So there's that. His administration has advocated more for state choice on abortion. No, it hasn't. If the choice is yes, then they fucking said, no, you can't, which has given a lot of states the allowance to actually pursue the policies they want. No, absolutely. This is not increased state choice. State choices have gone down. The choice that the states have has been lessened. The choice that the women have has been lessened. They've taken those rights away from people. But again, conservatives and people in the middle, these people can't know things. They can't learn new stuff because they're surrounded in a toxic soup of fucking right-wing politician, Fox News, OAN bullshit lies from Twitter and just everywhere surrounding them. Are there any Trump policies you feel have affected you personally? I do have several family members who legally immigrated while he was trying to cut back on illegal immigration. It has hurt a lot of legal immigrants. He's created problems in getting access to legal citizenship. A lot of appointments and interviews are on hold right now. People don't feel safe leaving the states or countries because they, even though they are legal, they still might be found illegal in the eyes of the administration. So that's breaking lots of families, doing a lot of harm. Natan. Nancy says tariffs are really impacting me, especially at work, because I work for a company that has offices abroad. The tariffs are just creating chaos at work between all of our customers, not understanding all the charge changes that are happening and the rollbacks, and they're going to get a refund. It's just a constant chaos. Nancy, everyone who has a brain told you that Donald Trump was the chaos president. And you said earlier that you wanted a little bit of chaos. You said it earlier. You said you wanted to try something new, a little bit of chaos. Throw a little bit of chaos in there. Throw some shit at the wall and see what sticks. Just leaves you with shit on your wall, Nancy. It's not good. Jose says, I travel a lot for the course of my job. I'm cutting my travel time because the prices of gas, the cost of living is terrible. That's why I emphasize with my daughter that every dollar that you keep, save it. I mean, do the best that you can because we don't know what's going to happen 6 months from now. What do you feel Trump's most focused on? When you think about your vote for 2024, what's the word that comes to your mind? Regret. So it's great. Well, I hope you regret and stop voting for Republicans. But I have a funny feeling Nancy's going to vote for a Republican again. Do you regret voting for Trump 24? 9 people raised their hands, but not John, the conspiracy theorist. No. But Chris did. Chris is a complicated guy. I feel foolish in a family full of Democrats. I really stood my ground twice to defend my stance. I feel like time and time again, all of the things that they pointed out would happen have ended up happening. Yeah, Michelle, listen, those family members were trying to make you not make a terrible mistake and explain to you why you're being stupid. And I looked dumb as hell believing in fairy tales and wishy-washy promises. Yes, you did. Did you learn anything? She doesn't regret her vote. She doesn't regret it. I feel like if Trump would have approached the country and the problems that the nation has been having as passionately as he had his personal vendettas against Biden and those before and after him, he would have been an amazing president. No, Michelle, that's all he has. That hateful spite is all he is. I really did believe that at one point that he was also frustrated American who was so fed up he was going to make a world of difference. You said something dumb. All the people around you told you that was dumb. And instead of like listening to them and reassessing what possibly they could be talking about, you dug your heels in and refused to change. And now that shit has gone wrong, you're like, well, it could have been good. If he had just, done exactly what I think he should have done, then it would have been fine. No, that's not how it works. That's not how any of this works. You don't just get to say, if he had done the things that I imagined he would do, then we get utopia. You have to listen to what he says, listen to the experts describe what he's going to do, listen to the people who are understanding of immigration, of tariffs, of taxes, of the economy, of the complicated systems within the network, and within the complicated systems of the world, and then make an informed decision rather than an emotional one about your family making you feel dumb. Pamela, you were like Michelle, standing your ground with your friends and family and feeling really strong about your vote choice in 24. Our family's mostly Republican. I grew up as a strong Republican, but I noticed that people that I knew to be conservative Republicans were starting to say, I think we made a huge mistake here. That's how I feel. I'm not embarrassed by anyone that is like, oh yeah, we told you this would happen. I'm not embarrassed by that. I'm embarrassed for our whole country that this is what we're dealing with daily now. You're going to vote for the next Republican. She's going to vote for the next Republican. Like it could be Trump third term and she would vote for him again. She would. I think that's kind of a boring question. What's the next question? Is anything at all about the economy going well? So let's ask all of these non-economic people what's going well. I was going to say the number of homeless people I'm seeing, as well as lines at food donation places, just overall, I'm seeing everybody really, really struggling here compared to 2 years ago. So she sees more homeless people. Okay, that doesn't surprise me. Then we jump to the Epstein files. Epstein files, government corruption. What are your thoughts on Iran? Okay, Allah, 51 from Alabama, hit me. I agree that we needed to do something about Iran because we can't just let that keep going. What's that? Can't just let that keep going. What the fuck are you talking about? We can't get another North Korea with a nuclear weapon. North Korea doesn't have a nuclear weapon. They fucking don't. Allah, you dumb bitch. They don't have one. I'm pro-Israel, says Allah. God. That subject, I do support him. Maybe it was not thought through, but I think it needed to be addressed. Allah, honey, North Korea does not have a nuclear weapon. They have dirty bombs, at best, that can reach South Korea. That's it. And even those are leftovers from the Soviet days. And as we've seen from leftover Soviet munitions and shit like that in the Russia-Ukraine war, a lot of that shit don't work no more. So she's severely worried about it becoming North Korea. God, Iran becoming North Korea would be less dangerous than what we've got now. I mean, it really would. North Korea doesn't have anything. They have a starving population. They don't have power and authority and a functioning government and a functioning economy, and they don't have ties to thousands of or a bunch of other countries. If they were relegated to the weakness that is North Korea, Donald Trump would go down in fucking history as defeating one of our greatest enemies. But none of that's going to happen. That's insane. She's comparing North Korea to Iran, and it's just insane. That's just crazy. Okay, let's keep reading. Kitty. Yeah, I totally agree with Ella. Somebody had to do something. Again, do something. I'm going to rant about that in a minute. I'm not sure what the best way is, but this doesn't feel like it. And then it doesn't help when you say, oh, you're ending civilization or something like that. It doesn't help when you say you're ending civilization or something like that. She doesn't know what the real tweet said. She doesn't know what Trump was talking about. She just remembers something, ending civilization, something. Because these people don't pay attention to politics, yet they are the most important voters in the world. Daniel says there should be peace talks. But every single time there's peace talks, Israel has to intervene and attack the country. I think the evil in the Middle East in that whole area is Israel. They do a ceasefire and then they attack Lebanon the same day. I'm like, come on, dude. Yeah, the whole Gaza thing, I think that's just terrible. I think Israel's I think Israel's doing what they say was done to them. So this guy is the future Tucker Carlson voter. I'll tell you about that later when I get to the end of tonight's rant. Daniel is going to be the one I'm pointing back towards. Jose says, I agree with him. I'm sorry if anybody gets offended, but the evil in the Middle East is Israel. We shouldn't be in Iran. They don't have a nuclear weapon. Show us something with proof, and then we can go on in and do a negotiation. So again, the Trump voters are coming down hard on anti-Israel. And that does not surprise me. Okay, and you can read all of this at the New York Times. I'm not going to go over all the rest of it. It just makes me mad anyway. Let's see if there's any other good stuff. Yeah, that's it. That's the end. Okay, let's do the end here. What do you wish other people knew about your vote for Trump? Chris, I was hoping for a great comeback. Why? I was hoping that he'd learn from his past successes and failures. Why would you do that? He sucked. He did a bad job. He got impeached. He got in trouble. He broke a bunch of laws. And you're like, let's give him another chance, everybody. Fuck you. No, why would you do that? That's dumb. Francesca says, I thought I was helping us get and save more money with taxes. You, from Washington, a deckhand. Francesca, you barely pay taxes at all. You are a deckhand on a boat in Washington State. Okay? You make $70,000 to $100,000 a year. That's what I'm just going to say. You barely pay taxes. I thought they would get rid of taxes so we would get our full paycheck instead of just half of it. Christ almighty. Oh, they're so dumb. They just don't know what they're talking about, man. Kitty says, I was expecting what he was like in his first run around, and it's completely different, completely the opposite of what you would hope for. These are the most important voters in the country. The Democrats can't reach them because these people don't watch TV. They don't watch the news properly. Like, I think the news plays as they walk through a room or something like that, and they only just catch like one or two words, and they kind of sticks. They barely know what's going on. They only pay attention to gas prices and wars that our troops are in. That's it. That's all they care about. That's all they ever pay attention to. And so these are Trump voters who voted for him a few times, maybe even 3 times. Maybe, and some of them I think are going to vote for him a 4th time. They would prefer the chaotic energy of Donald Trump to the no energy of Democrats. They would prefer Donald Trump randomly flinging shit at the wall to see what sticks. Here, let's pretend to be Donald Trump real quick. Let's turn on the red light. Can we do a red light? What if this makes any difference? Red. There we go. Now we're red. All right. We're going to do some Trump policy. Here we go. You got a problem with the economy? Okay. Fling tariffs around wildly. Tariffs 10%, 20%, 100%, down to 9% if you make a deal with Trump. Tariff the Penguin Island. Did we fix the economy yet? No? Everything's more expensive and all of our allies won't send their goods to our markets? Well, we don't have time for that. We've got a problem with government spending. Send in the dough, streamline everything, cut funding for everything that the average Republican hasn't heard of. National Forest Service, no one's heard of that. Cut all its funding. No Republican needs a forest anyway. USAID, no Republican has ever heard of that. Cut all of its funding. No Republican needs AIDS anyway. It's a stupid name. Why would you want AIDS? Did we fix the government yet? No? Oh, it seems all the experts quit or got fired when they refused to follow our uninformed orders. Well, there's no time to talk about that. We have a problem with immigration. Send in ICE to the Democrat sanctuary cities. Trump doesn't know what the sanctuary city is, but MAGA and the base hates them. Round up all the people based on skin color. Demand their papers. Tear gas all of downtown Los Angeles. Force innocent people into concentration camps. Catch them at their court-mandated immigration hearings and send them to Djibouti. Everybody with a tan and tattoos is MS-13. Send them to Venezuela, even if they're from Costa Rica. Did we do it? Did we solve immigration? No. We're being compared to Nazis, and people think that we're doing an ethnic cleansing. Well, there's no time to talk about that. We can't look into that. We've got to talk about the Epstein files. The Dems didn't release the Epstein files. Isn't that weird? Doesn't that implicate them? Investigate the Clintons. Joe Biden assassinated Epstein, even though Trump was the president at the time. Trump promised to release all the files, but then didn't and can't and will, but won't. But then did a little bit, including thousands of fully blacked out pages. But all of that, but that's all there is. There's no more. I mean, there's a lot more, but you can't have it. And we're done. And we're not going to release any more. Did they do it? Did we do it? Did we make everyone feel like Trump is not involved with Epstein? No. Everyone is more conspiratorial now because of the many, many lies. Well, we don't have time to talk about that. There's a war on Iran, and Iran is building a nuclear weapon. And so we bombed their facilities a year ago, totally annihilated their capability to ever create a nuclear weapon ever. And they will never be able to recover from this setback for all of time. But they have recovered from this, and we need to assassinate their leadership while they're in peace talks with us. And don't worry, we checked with the experts, and they told us that Iran cannot shut down the Strait of Hormuz. But they have, and all of the experts always knew that they would. So we bombed the entire Navy and their entire Air Force and all the rocket launchers completely, and they have none left. But in response to that, Iran used their Navy to plant mines and their rocket launchers to fire at all our allies in the region, and their drones from the Air Force to lash out at everybody they could. The Strait is open all the time, except when it's closed, and it's never closed except for when it is. Did we do it? Did we win the war? No. They still control the Strait and always will, and we can't negotiate with the leaders because we assassinated all their leaders. But we don't have time to talk about we need a ballroom. That is Republican governance. The rambling, bouncing off the walls chaos is preferable to the MAGA crowd, to all of these voters. That is preferable to them over a Democrat. It really is. They would prefer all of that nonsense to voting for a Democrat. And you might ask yourself, why? Why would these people prefer that bouncing off the walls insanity? It's because Dems have a habit of inaction, and the media reinforces those feelings. The people demand the government do something. How many times do we see do something in that little interview? Do something about the problem. Do some damn thing. Any damn thing. For the love of God, do something. And the Dems, here's what they do. Let's turn it blue. Bam. The Dems have heard that the people have a problem. So they gather all their top minds to listen to the complaints. Then they separate them out issue by issue into voting districts and hire pollsters to talk to the voters in those districts. Then they measure the replies of the poll. They put together a think tank and research the cause of the problem. Then they throw out any data that points to capitalism. Just throw that shit away. And any data that points at Israel. Throw that shit away too. We don't need it. We ain't doing anything about that. Those are non-starters, you see. We can't do anything about those problems. Then they send all of the data that they still have over to the consultants who run the idea through some focus groups and find the right kind of messaging. The very well-paid consultants send the script over to the Dems that'll benefit the most from the messages and if they pay their consultant fees. Then the Dems individually will measure that message against their own individual donors. And if the message will upset some of their big donors, they won't support the idea, no matter what it is, no matter how good of an idea it is, or how much you want it. They won't. They work for their donors, not you. And then the individual Dem has to check with Chuck Schumer to see what position he takes and whether or not he's going to be supporting the idea. And if he isn't, then there's nothing this individual Democrat can do. They can't go against Chuck Schumer, or else he will not support them in the next primary. But if we're lucky, he is on board and Chuck supports the idea, and they will have a grand unveiling ceremony announcing their plan. They've done it. Drum roll, please. Here's the plan. Means-tested tax rebates for people of color who start a new business in historically red-lined districts. It's impressive, I know. It's amazing. You're floored. You're shocked by the amazingness. But there's more. And there's more. Tax credits for new home buyers if they graduated from a 4-year college in Maryland. Asterisks apply, and if they haven't already received any other government home buying credits, not available in Nevada or California. It's just nothing. They don't do anything. Then the bill will go to the House, and it'll get defeated by an uneducated redneck from Alabama who calls it Nazi Marxist socialist fascism. The end. There's nothing the Dems can do about this. That's just how democracy works. It's over. We tried, guys. We heard you have a problem with health care. And after all of those steps, we put out a watered down shit bill that has nothing to do with that. And it got defeated by the one Republican House member from Alabama. Guess we'll just have to keep doing nothing. Keep sitting around and doing nothing. The people of the country feel like that's nothing because it is nothing. It's not a thing. They're not doing anything. The people have pain, and the Republicans turn it into quick action against whoever they hate the
We
most.
democratically gave them too much power.
And that feels
Now you'll have to vote for
like
us
they're
to have
trying
more
to
power
do
to
something
counter
at
it.
least. The Dems, on the other hand, measure that pain with polls, turn it into data, and then make a plan, and then water down the plan, then add caveats and asterisks to the plan, then amend the plan if it might upset the stock market. They end up doing almost nothing. This whole article is describing. No, this whole article suggests that people would prefer right-wing reactionary Republicans to a do-nothing Democrat. Dems, if you want to win, start doing stuff. left-wing stuff. I know it might lose you a few donors, but that's what you need to do. Stuff for the people. Donald Trump lies about the stuff he's going to do. He's going to kick out 50 million immigrants. It's a lie. It can't be done, and it doesn't make any sense. And he says that's magically going to fix the economy. It doesn't. But he's telling them what he's going to do, and then he tries to do it. Why can't Democrats do that? We democratically gave them too much power, and now you'll have to vote for us to have more power to counter it. Yeah, I know.
They're lobbied to do nothing.
They're lobbied to do nothing. I know they are. And yeah, but I know. That is a thing that I agree with you. That's absolutely what's been happening for a very long time. Sorry, one sec. All right, I'm back. So,
money.
Money. It's all over the money, SpongeBob. Because they work for money. They don't care. They don't work for you anymore. They don't care what your idea is. If you have pain and you have a problem and you have a legitimate grievance that you need the government to deal with, it's not their fault. How about, can we get you a tax cut somewhere, maybe? A tax rebate? Can we send you a voucher or a coupon? Because our donors need to keep making money. The people who pay for our, for the people who pay the Democrats to run for office need to make a lot of money so they can give more of it to the Democrats, you see. And that is the problem with this entire system. That's why I stand by my current predictions. If you haven't heard them, I'm going to make them again. Current prediction: Gavin Newsom will run in 2028 and win and do absolutely nothing. Maybe just a few small things. The Dems will have the House and the Senate and the presidency, and we will all cheer and we'll all be excited, and I'll be live streaming it. You'll be here. I'll be here. We'll all watch it together and we'll be like, yay, maybe we can get something done about health care. Maybe we can rewrite the immigration policy. Maybe we can break ties with Israel. None of that will happen. Just enough of the Southern Democrats will break to the right to keep everything exactly as it is. There won't be a big vote for Medicare for all. No. There'll be dozens of little tiny votes to increase Obamacare coverage for expectant mothers who live in specifically chosen urban areas by 1%. And that will fail, as the Democrat from North Carolina thinks it taxes the rich too much. And then they won't be able to do anything else. And they'll say, we just don't have the votes, guys. We only have 59 blue senators. We can't possibly get this done. So nothing will get done. Maybe some symbolic things will get done, naming post offices after trans people, or the White House officially celebrates Juneteenth. But nothing of actual substance that will transform your life will happen. Israel and Iran's wars will continue. Healthcare will still be the leading cause of bankruptcy. The White House ballroom will finish its construction. Trump and his cabinet will not be tried for any crimes. No, they won't. Under Gavin Newsom, they will not be tried for crimes. We'll get a lot of soaring rhetoric from the Democrats about moving forward. Don't dwell on the past. Tomorrow is the light of the future that we will strive toward while reaching our hand to the people of the country who yearn for freedom. And it will mean nothing. More nothing from the Democrats. That's what we will continue to get. More nothing. And then after 4, maybe 8 years of that nothing, the people crying out that the government has done nothing will be correct. Tucker Carlson will step up to the plate. And all of these people will hear him. All of them. He will promise to take their pain and use the power of the government to attack the people they hate. And they will vote for him, and he will win. And because he's even more of a bitch than Trump, he'll become the number one most bought and paid for corporate stooge you could ever imagine. When there was a government salary, they are encouraged to appeal to the people to stay elected. When there is government salary and lobbying, there's only encouraged to stay elected for what the lobby want. Yeah, absolutely. Follow the money. Military payment paradox. Yeah, absolutely. Entirely right. Any of it. They want that job so they can keep doing favors for these rich donors, for these investors. Then when they either get out of the game, they have a place to work, where they can just make a bunch of money, and they know all the people on the inside, and they know who got elected after them, and they can just go talk to them because they're friends now. I helped you get elected. Don't you want my company that I work for now to get a bunch more money so that we can give you a bunch more money when you run for office again in 2 years? Yeah, exactly. And it's fucking awful. It cannot stand for much longer. And it's only going to get worse after the next Democrat administration. Trump has a deranged kind of pride. He puts his name on every damn thing. He wants to name everything after himself. He would, if he could get away with it, he would start building, like, mandating fucking statues of himself in every fucking state capital or some shit like that. Some real third world shit, because he has a fucked up sense of pride. He will sell out if you kiss his ass enough and put his name in the papers and give him a good headline. He'll sell you whatever you want. I think that Tucker will sell this entire country without all that. I think he will be...
I know it's a spent meme, but Trump is a mafia don.
He is a mafia don, and what you have to do is butter him up the proper amount. If you butter him up the right way, the proper amount, he will give you anything you want. He will give you whatever the country has. And that's how he operates. But I think Tucker, who is the next Republican to win the presidency, that's my prediction for the moment. Things can and will change. But I do think it will be him next. I think we're going to get Gavin for 4 to 8 years. And then after that, everybody will be sick of Democrats doing nothing, and Tucker will win on an anti-Israel ticket. He will run, because even in this little article, lots of Trump Republicans are pissed off about Israel. They're unhappy with that shit. And the people in the middle don't like it either. And the people on the left don't like it. The people on the right are anti-Israel because they're Nazis. Well, okay, let me start over. The people on the far right are anti-Israel because they're Nazis. The people on the right are anti-Israel because they're Nazi adjacent. Some of the people on the right, your religious fundamentalists and stuff like that, are only pro-Israel so that they can take over Mecca or something like that, and then their magic spell from the Bible is complete, and then the rapture happens.
Gosh,
and they
I
all
hope
fly
Newsom
into
won't be
space.
the next, but it's all controlled and AI predicted. You're probably right on the money.
Thanks. And then the people in the center are pissed off at Israel because we keep giving them money and they keep doing dumb fucking war crimes right out in the open. And then the people on the Democrats love Israel. They will never leave them. They are hand in hand, arm in arm, walking forward with Israel forever, for eternity, never going to change. And then the left is upset with Israel for the genocide that they're doing. So that's most of the country is upset with the way Israel is operating right now for one reason or another. Is that horseshoe theory? No, it's not shaped properly, but it's a squiggly line. Anywho, yeah, Tucker will pounce on that. He will take that. He will run with that and tell you, the people on the right, vote for me. I'll stop giving Israel bombs. Vote for me. I'll stop this bullshit in Israel to the center. And then the people on the left will say, you know what? At least he's anti-Israel. And they might not just show up to vote for the Democrat. Because that's what happened to Kamala. Kamala was continuing Jihad Joe Biden's allowing Israel to run all over and do a genocide. Joe Biden was bad about that. He did a bad job on that situation. I'm unhappy with the things that he did in that situation.
No horseshoe, only pesos.
Only pesos, yeah. But then Kamala promised to keep doing it. Kamala right out the gate was further left than Joe. Then she picked Tim Walz, who was way further left than both of them. And everybody was excited for this new guy. And he's doing all the fun things. And
I
he's being
recently
great.
learned that the US dollar sign means pesos plural.
Oh, okay. I had no idea. And now I know it too. And now so does everybody else watching. Good job, any of it who educated us today. But then the DNC reined them in. The DNC told them, stop being so progressive. Stop doing that. You're scaring the donors, and they aren't going to fund us anymore. Bring it to the center. Bring it to the center right damn now. And so after the DNC convention, they brought it to the center, and they lost. And all they had to do was move further left, and they would have won, possibly. But that's just a theory, a game theory. That's just a theory, a political theory. Thanks for watching. So yeah, that was my idea. Hop in, go on over to the Discord. Tell me what you think. Go to this thing. Go to this link. Tell me if any of them are crazy people. Tell me what you think about each of these things. I'm posting it in the general now for the stuff. Pasting into the thing for my Discord. Go on over there. Tell me what you're thinking. Tell me what you're feeling. Discord right there. And then we copy the address. We pasta it in to the chat. Bam. Okay. Go on over there. Tell me your favorite one or your least favorite one, whichever. And I'm going to turn this into a YouTube video. As usual, I'll just chop this up, take out the slow parts, the bad parts of the words I flub, because I'm a dirty, rotten liar. I cut out the uhs and the ums, the awkward pauses and the word flubs, so that when I put it on YouTube, it makes me sound like I've never made a mistake. And it's because I'm a filthy liar. I'm sorry. But if you want to keep hearing the uhs, the ums, and the flubs, you can watch on the live stream. As some people do. I got 500 views on my last live stream. That's weird.
He's exactly like his first term, but the logical continuation. Obviously, he is more hostile, because he was continually escalating.
Right, and he had some neocons to keep him down. He had some people, your Mitt Romneys, your neocon type guys, your regular Republicans, who want this grift to go on forever. They don't want the collapse of the government so that they can rob it. They want it to go on forever so they can earn 5% for the rest of their lives. That's what they wanted. But Donnie wants to wreck the whole thing and loot the corpse. He wants to kill the country and loot the corpse. Everybody else was happy getting a few coins every single day from the functioning government. They were keeping him in check. He had his second term to win, and so he had to not go crazy. And now he gets to go crazy. This is his spring break. This is his last hurrah. It's his senior year. So he gets to fuck around all he wants. And that's what we're seeing. That's what we're doing. That's what he's doing. And everybody who has a brain saw it coming. Any of it. Is that an idea you had before the election? That he would be more hostile because he was continually escalating? Did you think that before the election? Because I did. But none of the people in this study group heard any of that.
The first term was him finding the Republicans that would resist, and Biden was Trump buying or preparing to remove Republicans that would resist.
And they removed the people who disagreed. That's what they did at the FBI. That's what they've done in the military. Pete Hegseth has kicked out lots and lots of generals who would not agree to do the war crimes he told them to do. That's not a surprise. I expected that. In my worst nightmares, that's exactly what they would do, and it's what they're doing. How do we make these dummies hear that message? That's what we have to do. We have to convince somehow, some operation, some media source, some camera, some fucking website, some TV channel has to tell these morons what's going to happen tomorrow. What's going to happen when you bomb Iran. They closed the Strait of Hormuz. No shit. I knew that. You knew that. These fuckers didn't. How do we solve this problem? How do we get the obvious things that I know are going to happen, the obvious things that you know are going to happen, into the brains of the people who don't pay attention and vote just based on vibes? I don't know how we do it. Better media? Maybe. But like, if it's boring, they won't watch it. Trick them through woke Hollywood? It's kind of working, but only really for moral and non-policy kind of things. Will and Grace was a TV show that tricked lots of normies into thinking that being gay was normal. You have to trick them into it.
Cough, stop, cough, missing cough.
How do we trick the normies into being better people? We used to use Sesame Street to trick children into being less fucking shitty. Share with your friends. Here's the letters and the numbers. Here's how you be a decent human being. Here's how you don't hit people. Here's how you stop being a shithead. We have to trick the people into being better than they are. But there's so much money in being a piece of shit. There's so many lying grifters who really, really, really want you to be a terrible person and give them a couple of dollars. So I guess it's a uphill battle. That's all I've got for tonight. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for being here, any of it. Thanks for coming in earlier, Valor and Malachi. I appreciate it. Mach 7 Radio Intercepts. Thanks for coming in. I've seen you a couple of streams now. Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for saying hello. That's all I've got for tonight. It's about 9 o'clock anyway, so it's usually when I knock off.
Later, Waldo.
See you later. Good night. And if anybody watching wants to have the lovely robot lady, you can go on over to the Twitch stream and chat, and the lovely robot lady will read your stuff out loud. It's a very fun thing that I can only get away with.
All jokes, by the way, for legal purposes.
Oh yeah, you're a comedian. I know this. You're a professional comedian. And all jokes, and I am not a doctor, regardless of how I look. Okay, I am not a doctor. So yeah, that's it for me tonight. I will be back on Saturday, West Coast time, 10 a.m. PST, unless the Gestapo kicks in my door and drags me off to a